on, come on, come on. So, so you think you can tell heaven from hell? Which one's pink? Which one doesn't call me anymore? Goosebumps and marks from her fingernails on my skin during the turbulence of our flight around reality. Does the bell toll for me? At the very least, I must pay a toll. I spend the blood of my pens and wear purple for those who've committed suicide because of being bullied and oppressed for not wanting to fuck a woman. How do I sing comme un fuck who is fucked in Alaska? Quel beau dommage. Papa, don't preach, but I don't remember your stories. Tell them again. Better yet, write them. But what an ugly shame. You put a shotgun in your mouth a year before my birth. You left our world with an anger, perhaps similar to mine, to ours. Did you feel our frustration, our confusion, our oppression? How do I write all that? My box of pens is heavy, but there's not much ink left. So no matter anyway. These days I write on the computer. Okay. This one is another thing, a couple of things I would like to share with you. One of the things that we've discovered in Louisiana French poetry is that this has developed as a theme, and the theme is les loups, the wolves. All of the prominent French writers have written poems with the thematic of the wolf, and I don't know if it was I don't know if it came about as an accident. Maybe it has something to do with how wolves like to travel in packs, or maybe something to do with the idea of the lone wolf. You know, in French there's a word called rôder, and in Louisiana French we rôder, we even do it in English. It means just to ride around and visit, but it comes from the word meaning to prowl. So maybe that has something to do with it. So I'm going to share a few wolf poems with you right now. This one's called The She-Wolf of Another Time. The she-wolf paints another masterpiece on the edge of the Golden Arm Lakes, disguised as human and male. Her ferocious tenderness is revealed in the images of her young ones. Her cousins traded in their freedom for meals provided. But they recognize themselves in her painting, and they miss their wayward cousin. They desire to play with her young ones. She, with eyes of a color somewhere between the sky and the clouds, she observes and smells and tastes and hunts that which is real. Her brushes, her senses and her intuition. Her canvas, her reality. Her exhibition, nature. The people pull out their hair looking at such damned images. How could a man think to show such things? The reddish paint flows from her teeth. Poetry fricassee and fricassee poésie. First, you make a roux. Equal parts of the flour of memory and of the oil of the moment. Then you stir, you stir, you stir. The north wind is whistling. The wolf outside is howling like he wants to come in. He knocks on the window. He warns us again. He's rocking the rockers on the porch. He warns us again. Are we ready to be bothered? Inside we get closer, nestled close and tight. He knocks even harder at the door of our chest. If we let him enter, together we ask with La Jolie Blonde, what future and what hope can we have? Like a Catholic à gros grain, he cries out loud when it suits him. The choice will be ours. If we don't choose, is it still a choice? He tries to climb on the sofa. He licks his lips. Are we like him, really hungry? Or do we just want to eat? Now you add the fruits of the sea. The wildlife makes up the band to make us dance. The sun and the breeze rock us to sleep. The surf, the souls. Serve with rice and it's ready. Let's eat. This one's called Thoughts Out of the Box, thanks to an email from the in-laws. The Cherokees tell us that there's a battle between two wolves inside each of us. And the wolf that wins is the one we feed. If I live in front of this idiot box of imbeciles boxed up in this box I call home, I begin to see our national life and culture in boxes. Each box feeds us a different course. The box of nationalist culture offers an appetizer of false patriotism, of false pride, where we believe we are the strongest, the most free, the most generous, and we never question our beliefs. The box of religious culture offers a salad of good intentions, often dressed with a dressing of intolerance and guilt. The box of political culture offers us the main course of fear. Fear of crimes, fear of terrorists, fear of strangers, fears which bring us to anger, to hate, to violence. The box of popular culture offers us a dessert of materialism and hedonism, sweetened with sugared excess and a lack of responsibility. And we wonder why the big bad wolf is getting fat. Yet, I see a fire in the fireplace at the home of the wolf of hope. He needs ingredients for his gumbo of love: joy, faith, compassion, understanding. I think for a moment about my grandfather, and I remember a story about mon père and about a meeting of the National Life Insurance Agencies where he'd worked. An American asked him, "Kirby, say something in French." My papa responds in his Cajun French, "Mais you imbecile, you're never going to understand what I'm saying." And everyone applauded. Will we understand? Oh! The wolf is hungry. Will we feed him? And I'd like to finish today with, sorry, I don't have a translation for this, but I think you might still enjoy it if you don't understand it. I always think it's quite funny that when this book won this award from the prestigious French Academy, which I'm still in shock about, I don't know if the guys actually read the book, because there is actually some interesting things in here. And one of them is, a couple of them are actually raps. So this one was a rap that I wrote. My rap styles might be kind of different. I was originally influenced by like Chuck D and Run DMC. I used to love their rap style, very forceful kind of rap style. And so I kind of rap like that, but with a little Cajun accent, of course. So I wrote this little rap, and I'll tell you what it's about so you can give you an idea about it, but it's called C'est comme ça, and it's about how the world treats you and how should you react, and it's all how laughing in its face about the way it treats you. And later on in the rap, there's something which is almost like a rap that we used to do as a kid, which we called the gris gris, which is a little chant we used to do, like a little curse that we used to call it, kind of like a voodoo curse we would call it, putting it on people. But it's actually just it was a way to make fun of things. So you're going to hear my little rap here in French, and hope you enjoy it. It's called C'est comme ça. C'est comme ça que le monde me traite. Si je pense comme ça, faut que je regrette. Tomber dans le trou en rayon des peurs. Tomber comme un fou vivant qui meurt. Au secours, viens vite m'aider. Soigne mon cœur comme un cœur sacré. Au secours, viens vite m'aider. Sortez du trou cassé entier. Et quand je vois à travers mes doigts des espaces étroits, un regard de toi qui a la foi et contre la loi au fond de ma foi. Ha 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 ha. C'est comme ça que le monde me traite. Si je pense comme ça, faut que je regrette. Tomber dans le trou en rayon des peurs. Tomber comme un fou vivant qui meurt. Au secours, viens vite m'aider. Soigne mon cœur comme un cœur sacré. Au secours, viens vite m'aider. Sortez du trou cassé entier. Et quand j'écoute combien ça coûte un nouveau soute pour jouer au foot, ça va, on doit faire foot un naughty boot. Et quand je dis tout ce que je pense ici, tous les ennemis, c'est tout fini, les interdits et les mépris et les haïs, mes cris ça rit. Macacri, paroles sont musique, poèmes sont vers, rhythm sont blues, rock sont roll, rimes sont raison, heavy sont metal, hip sont hop, ha ha ha, hi, c'est ton pour un petit gris, patassa, on brasse, mosella, gris, patoula, dépasse, ton sasa, gris, ça quoi, basse classe, défatra, gris, ananas, pomme de pain là-bas, gris, tralala, chic, bien, ton tabac, gris, va là-bas, de rien, pas de caca, gris, gris, ha ha ha, hi, ha ha ha, c'est comme ci, c'est comme ça que le monde me traite, si je pense comme ça, faut que je regrette. Tomber dans le trou en rayon des peurs, tomber comme un fou vivant qui meurt, au secours, viens vite m'aider, soigne mon cœur comme un cœur sacré, au secours, viens vite m'aider, sortez du trou cassé, entier. Thank you, merci. No. Yeah, no.
Personal ones.
The only question I have, do you think that the state of Louisiana is the last holdout, as a state as a whole, that's trying to hold on to a culture so that it does not truly assimilate?
I think it's the first part of the question.
Do you think that Louisiana may be one of the last few states in the United States that's holding on to their culture as a whole to not assimilate?
Well, you know, there's certainly parts of, I'm sorry, there's certainly parts of that, the mic, okay. There's certainly, I see that we do have, compared to some other states, which is true as well, but of course, I mean, there's a lot that we've lost and, you know, you never get back, but you know, one of the things, my first book that I wrote was called L'École Gumbo, the Gumbo School, and I talk about the concept of the gumbo as a metaphor for Louisiana culture and for life in general, rather than that wonderful thing they call the melting pot. You know, I talk about the gumbo pot as being this idea, you know, in the gumbo pot, you know, you have all these different ingredients that come together. You know, have your roux and you have your chicken and your sausage and your seafood and you got your onions and you got your rice and all these different things, and they all come together, and they boil together. It gets hot when all these different cultures come together. And there's some heat that's generated there, but you don't let it boil over. You know, and then when you eat it, you can still taste the shrimp, and you can still taste the sausage, and you can still taste the chicken. You can still see the element of the culture, but it becomes better because it's rubbed against as many as other cultures. And I think that's a much more beautiful, for me, a metaphor of what our culture should be like. You know, we don't want to lose the fact of where these cultures, the heritage we have. You know, and so I mean, and which the thing is, you say that because I came to actually begin to appreciate my culture more because of people who are from outside this state who were moved here and were attracted by it, you know. I started dismiss it, you know, and my parents, when I was a kid, my parents would play French music and they'd speak to me in French. I'd pretend like I didn't understand, and I would go in the other room, you know, put hands over my ears, you know. And it wasn't until actually, I can't appreciate it. First of all, I was teaching in African-American schools in New Orleans, and that's what I wanted to get to know African-American culture in New Orleans, and that's where I got into hip hop, and the kids we would share, you know, that was back when we had like tapes, y'all remember tapes, cassette, and we'd share cassette tapes and we'd do those things like that, and so we'd share tapes, and then. You know, then I used to like to go drinking in an Irish pub, so I got interested in Irish music a bit. But these people from outside the state would come here and they would see these things about the culture, and they'd ask me a question about my own culture. They asked me this weird question. They asked me, Kirby, do you Cajun dance? I had never heard that expression before. I said, well, I'm a Cajun and I dance, but I have no idea what that means, do a Cajun dance, you know? And so they asked me this question, but it was hard so I had to learn about my own heritage, you know? And I learned about, you know, and of course there's a lot of myths too about everything. When they talk about Cajun culture, all they talk is about our Acadian ancestry, which I'm very proud of my Acadian ancestry, and I'm very proud of that part of myself. But to be Cajun is much more than that. I mean, I can't be Cajun, you know, I can't be Cajun without being Afro-Caribbean. I can't be Cajun without being in the United States, being a blend of also these other cultures, the German and the English and Italian was all around. All of those became part of who I am. I can't be a Cajun without realizing that my ancestors would never survive if it wasn't for the Native Americans, you know. And all of those are a part of who I am, you know. Because I can recall two things one of the things that we do in Louisiana is we do these twinnings of places, you know, with towns or twins of those. And two things stood out for me. I remember one of them is when we were twinned with an Acadian group that came, and I just felt this wonderful kinship with them, that, you know, there's this kind of sense of celebration, the sense of having passed through some kind of tragedy, but we're still here, you know, and I felt that together. And the other thing is when I had the delegation, I was living in St. Martinville, we were twinned with Gorée Island in Senegal, and we were twinned with that city, and they had their delegation from there, you know. And can I tell y'all an interesting story? I thought this kind of funny. When I was with them from the delegation from Senegal, it was great because all of a sudden they started dancing, we were sharing, but we were talking with the guy from Gorée Island, and we asked him, says, And we learned something, that the word they had for white people was something that sounded like the word in their language, in their which is Wolof, which sounded like the word honky. That's what it did. It sounded like, and so it did. I said, really? It sounded like that. And it meant people with red nose, with a red nose. That's what it meant. And then I was talking to him. He said, I said, well, do you know about the Cajuns? Do you know who we are? He says, oh, yes, you're the honkies who like to have a good time. And I was like, when I heard that, I'm like, this is wild. I said, this is something. But I had such a kinship with those folks as well. And when they would start singing a song, I shared like an old Creole Zydeco song with them. And I just felt that those are parts of my heritage and who I am, you know. And I think if we lose sight of that, we lose sight of, there's so many things, you know, that's where we lose sight of kind of like this responsibility we have to continue this life, you know. I think sometimes when I teach kids, I want them to realize, like, you know, there are millions of people who are responsible for your being here where you are right now. You know, your life has come from, you know, and so you need to continue this. You need to appreciate them, and then you need to move forward and go forward with that. You know, so, and I think Louisiana, there are ways where we do that. There are ways where we stifle that. You know, I'm very realistic about it. But yes, compared to some other states, yeah. You notice, I'm sorry to go on very long with that, but that's just my wife always tells me. Well, I have to share this. Y'all know there's a whole saying about the difference between a novelist and a poet. You know, there's a novelist and a poet. Okay. Well, they say that a poet is just a novelist who's too damn lazy to finish what he started, and a novelist is just a poet who don't know when to shut up. So that's why my wife, I think, wants me to write a novel one day, because she thinks I don't know when to shut up. So, yes. Anything else? Okay. All right. Thank y'all so much. I enjoyed it. Thank y'all.
Thank you for that. Let's give one more hand for Kirby Jambon. And a hand for Kevin Waltman, please. And for all of our guests who are here this weekend, it's been a wonderful weekend. I appreciate you coming all this way. There's some evaluation forms, if you wouldn't mind filling them out on your way out. They're short, easy. We'd appreciate that. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thanks again. One more thank you. I want to thank my husband, Olin, who's done a tremendous amount all weekend long, anything I need. And Danny, who's tirelessly filmed everything all weekend long. Thank you, Danny. And also thanks to Rosalind, she's just done amazing work for the Festival of Words. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Appreciate it.